Last October, there was the real threat of a disorderly collapse of the financial system. Governments around the world raced to stabilize the system. Many people thought that would be the end of it and we would have an upward trajectory in economic growth. What they failed to realize is that all the stabilization achieved is to give policymakers a choice whether to have an orderly adjustment, one where we allow orderly failures, orderly bankruptcies to weed out the excesses of the previous bubble, or to do what the US is spearheading, a reflation of the system, propping up debt levels in the consumers, propping up bad banks, propping up an economy so that the consumer spending can continue the way it has. What are the implications for currencies around the world as we try to reflate the system? Let's consider where the money will be flowing as the economy is being reflated by the US government, supported by some other governments around the world. Let's keep in mind here that the reflationary efforts are highly inefficient. That's because if you take, for example, the stimulus package, it is mostly a spending package. We know it's extremely expensive. The US government will have to raise about $3 trillion this year. That is money that is not available for the private sector, not available for the sovereign sector, meaning not available for cheaper countries. We don't have clear guidance in the stimulus package. On the one hand, we bail out homeowners. On the other hand, we phase out interest rate deductibility. The Federal Reserve has struggled to find a clear path. All we know is ready to print money and to print a lot of it. And so while some of that money will stick eventually, banks at some point will start to lend, if ever so reluctantly. It will be very, very slow how that money makes it through the system. Also, we have consumers that want to deleverage, but we have policies enticing consumers to keep up the leverage that they have. So as that money is very inefficient, we believe that gold is one of the early beneficiaries of this upward swing. Gold because it doesn't have much industrial use. As industrial activity picks up, other commodities are likely to benefit. But only at the very end, corporations will benefit. Keep in mind here that the business model of many institutions, in particular financial institutions, is substantially broken. Moving to the currencies, we believe the Australian dollar is the key candidate to benefit from a reflation trade. That's because the Australian economy is very commodity dependent. The Australian dollar is the one that's most highly correlated to the price of gold. And even as corporate earnings may lag, because we are trying to reflate the economy, to reflate the system, China, which by the way is the one country that can afford its stimulus, is going to use more resources. The resource-based economies will benefit. The small neighbor, New Zealand of Australia, will also benefit in our view. They don't have the industrial commodities, they have more agricultural commodities. New Zealand we like because they have not interfered much in the bust cycle. They've allowed the contraction to happen, and so they'll be in a better position to recover. On the other side of the globe, we have Canada that is better positioned than other countries to benefit from a recovery. Now, Canada's risk continues to be its exposure to the US economy, but the commodity drive, the commodity aspect of the Canadian dollar should be beneficial. Please subscribe to this YouTube video or go to our website, merkfund.com, to subscribe to our newsletter. You'll find other currency discussions there. We recently discussed depression investing, which currencies to hide in if this thing turns into a depression. We also discussed whether there are any hard currency left, and very soon we'll be discussing the Chinese yuan and other Asian currencies. I'm Axel Merk, the portfolio manager of the Merk Hard and Asian Currency Funds.